Terraria is a 2D sandbox game that features exploration, building, fighting, and more. With an expansive world and many biomes to explore, there's a lot the game has to offer. In the game, there are over 15 unique bosses and hundreds of weapons and gear to choose from. These tools are each associated with one of 4 classes: Melee, Ranger, Mage, and Summoner. It's important to figure out which of these classes and playstyles will suit you best so that you can easily take down all the bosses. With that in mind, let's go over each class and see what they're all about. Starting off with one of the most popular choices, the Melee class. This class features high damage dealing, close range weapons. With a few exceptions, the main weapon types that you will be using are swords, boomerangs, maces, and yo-yos. Each weapon type offers a slightly different way that you can play them. Because the Melee class is focused on being up close and personal when fighting, the armor sets that you will use have high defensive stats and capabilities. You will put yourself closer to danger, however, you will be rewarded with high damage and fast takedowns. This class is perfect for those of us who like to run in first and worry about safety second. The second class is going to be the Ranger. As you might have guessed, this class has a large arsenal of weapons, from bows to guns. You may be starting off with some bows for a while, as guns will be unlocked a little bit further in progression. A unique aspect of this class is the ammo items. After all, a bow by itself isn't very effective. There are going to be many varieties of arrows, bullets, and other ammunition for you to decide from, with each having different effects and benefits. The armor you're going to wear is going to have a decent amount of protection, with some average defense stats, because after all, you're going to be focusing on keeping your distance from what you are fighting. The damage output isn't as grand as the Melee class, however, weapons you have offer great abilities that will always keep the class very interesting. Moving on to the Mage class. If you love visually pleasing effects and a wide variety of differing weapons, this is the one for you. The Mage class has a lot to offer with many fan favorite weapons. The biggest downside of this class is going to be your mana cost. You have a limited amount of mana that will recharge over time, or you can use mana potions to replenish your mana gauge. There will also be various ways that you can increase your max mana, such as mage equipment and armor. Speaking of the equipment, the defense for the Mage class is around the same as the Ranger, as you should be attacking from a distance. The armor in that class can also give you really valuable effects. For example, there are a couple that include a lifesteal mechanic. Overall, this class is very fun to play. You just need to pay attention to your mana to make sure you aren't running out when you need it the most. Finally, we have the Summoner class. This class uses a variety of summoned creatures to fight for you. You yourself will be armed with whips that can direct your summon to what you're attacking. Now, you can only have a certain amount of summoned creatures at a time. Starting out, you may only be able to have 1 or 2. However, that can increase as you gain armor and accessories later in the game. Because you won't have to focus on your attacking yourself, this class has an extremely low defense stat with its armor. In theory, you should be focusing your energy on dodging rather than fighting, so you should be more successful at it. This class does a little below average when it comes to damage output. However, the weapons and summons are easy to get, and even one of them will last a while before you need to replace it. Definitely choose this class if you don't want to be as engaged with what you're fighting. Also, if you just think having a bunch of sometimes cute creatures fighting for you is the go-to.